Hello everyone, in this video, I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Moeed Pirzada to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Moeed Pirzada's words. In the last 72 hours, there has been much controversy between France and the US regarding Gaza, Palestine, and the recognition of a Palestinian state. The French president and diplomats have been critical, and Israel has been involved in tense exchanges, a major development indeed. However, my focus remains on Khalistan and Pakistan, especially the developments over the past 24 hours regarding the reaction of the Pakistani people, the media, and the politics surrounding these incidents. When I look at the situation, I feel increasingly worried. The fears and concerns I have regarding the future of Pakistan are growing. The incident I'm referring to happened in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa district of Orakzai and the Tira Valley. Pakistan's military opened fire after getting trapped in a situation near the brigade headquarters. It was initially reported by Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Qasim Suri, that 7 people were killed, including a 5-year-old child. This incident was later confirmed by Pakistani English newspapers. In total, 8 people died and 16 or 17 were injured. The reaction from Pakistan's Prime Minister, Shahbaz Sharif, has been extremely irresponsible. He has denied the very existence of the incident. His statement in the newspapers says that the rebels opened fire on state institutions, including the military. The Prime Minister of Pakistan has shown no responsibility or sensitivity toward the deaths of innocent civilians. The government of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, led by Chief Minister Ali Amin Gandapur, expressed deep regret over the incident and stated that compensation would be provided to the families of the deceased and the injured. The compensation amounts to rupees 10 million for the deceased and rupees 2.5 million for the injured. But, this is not the first time such compensation has been offered. Similar compensation was promised after the Islamabad massacre of November 2024, where more than 100 people were shot, though only 15 to 16 of those deaths were openly acknowledged. Now let's analyze this situation further. This pattern of firing at peaceful protesters has been ongoing for the past few years, especially after the fall of Imran Khan's government in April to June 2022. Despite repeated promises of inquiries and investigations into these incidents, no formal accountability has ever taken place. The Pakistani government has failed to address the root causes or take responsibility for the actions of its military. The state of Pakistan is gradually becoming more unstable, and this ongoing repression and injustice is creating a dangerous narrative. The increasing deaths, injuries, and ongoing military operations are destabilizing the country further. The worst part is the government's inability to accept responsibility and provide proper investigations. Despite calls for justice and transparency, the state continues to suppress any meaningful discourse around these incidents, especially through media censorship. Traditional media has been silenced, and social media users are being threatened, as seen with the blocking of Twitter accounts and cybercrime cases being filed against individuals who criticize the government. In this context, I used AI-powered tools like ChatGPT and Google to do some research and found alarming statistics regarding the loss of life in Pakistan's military operations. The military claims to have conducted 59,000 intelligence operations over the past 2 years, resulting in the deaths of over 900 militants. However, it is difficult to ascertain how accurate these numbers are or whether they represent the entire picture. I also discovered that Pakistan's military has suffered over 2,000 casualties in operations, including soldiers and militants. The true extent of the losses suffered by civilians who are labelled as militants or terrorists is far higher. These growing losses and the ongoing military crackdown point toward a troubling future for Pakistan. The government's failure to address the issue of accountability, the lack of formal investigations into civilian deaths, and the lack of justice are leading to a society where oppression, injustice, and human rights abuses are becoming normalized. The collective suffering is creating a toxic environment for the country's future. I also wanted to highlight an important aspect of human society and governance. Pain, both physical and psychological, is a critical factor in how societies and individuals react. When a government suppresses voices of dissent, or when people's suffering goes unnoticed, the result is a breakdown in the societal structure. Just like in medical science, where pain serves as a life-saving mechanism to alert us to harm, the voice of the people serves as a warning to those in power. But when that voice is silenced, society becomes numb and the situation worsens. In the end, Pakistan is facing a future where state-sponsored violence, social unrest and human rights abuses are becoming more prevalent. Until the government acknowledges these issues and takes responsibility, the country is likely to remain in a state of turmoil. The Operation Al-Mizan lasted from 2002 to 2006, nearly 4.5 years. After that, Operation Shadil ran from 2008 to 2009 for 2 years. Then Riaz continued from 2009 to 2010 for about 2 to 2.5 years. Next came Operation Najat from 2009 to 2010 for 2.5 years. Following that was Operation Saft in 2011 to 2012. Then Zardari continued for 2 to 2.5 years until 2014 to 2017. The Rudul Fasad operation started in 2017, but it has never been formally concluded. According to Pakistan's published statistics, over 70,000 intelligence-based or different kinds of operations have been conducted. What does this tell you about Pakistan? Now, if you consider that in every operation only one person from our side or the enemy's side died, then it means a loss of life of 70,000. If 2 people died in each operation, it would mean 140,000 losses. If 3 people died or were injured in each operation, then it would mean over 210,000 casualties. You can imagine for yourself how much the loss of life must have been as a result of these operations and how much loss of infrastructure, including people's homes, buildings, forests and properties, occurred. What does this tell us? It tells us that the Pakistani state, like any other state, faces its own set of problems. But the difference is, the Pakistani state lacks a mechanism or thought process to deal with its political issues, apart from relying on war. The 50-50 scenario, where a director of a Punjabi film says that for a film to be successful, you need to show fighting inside the bus, on the roof of the bus, inside the train, on the roof of the train, in the house, on the roof of the house, street fights, fights between husband and wife. If you include all of this, the film will be successful. This analogy applies to Pakistan's state and its decision-makers. The Pakistani establishment is fighting everywhere. Afghanistan, Kashmir, India, Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Balochistan and more. This state is surviving on war after war. How long can this society and state continue to tolerate these wounds? This question comes to my mind. Another question arises, who is this war being fought in the interest of? I would like to make a few comments on this as well. In the past 24 hours, there have been confirmed reports of another attack on the Jafar Express, which is constantly being targeted in Balochistan. Sometimes by the BLA, sometimes by the BLF, and sometimes by other groups. In the past 24 hours, near Sukur, there was a bomb blast on the train track of the Jafar Express, which damaged the rail track. The repairs took 5 to 6 hours, and during this incident, one person was reported to have died or was severely injured. It is also reported that this kind of attack occurred a few weeks ago in June. Then again, in March 2025, the train was hijacked, with 400 people being abducted. To date, no confirmation has been made on what exactly happened to those 400 people after they were hijacked and taken into the mountains by terrorists. This gives us an idea of the situation in Balochistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Fatah. Who is responsible for these incidents in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa? Who should react to this? In my analysis, the principal responsibility lies with the people of Punjab, the institutions of Punjab, the lawyers, the human rights organizations and intellectuals of Punjab. This is because whatever the army does in Pakistan, it does on behalf of Punjab. Just as in 1971, whatever happened in East Pakistan happened on behalf of West Pakistan. Today, whatever is happening in Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is happening on behalf of the people of Punjab. Therefore, the reaction and response to these issues should come from them. The Pakistan Human Rights Commission, press clubs, bar associations and other organizations should investigate how many incidents of this kind have occurred in the past 3 years. Have they been investigated? Have any officers or soldiers been held accountable? Have the rules of engagement been changed? because the current reaction suggests that the Army's brigades are under such stress that, if any changes were made to the rules of engagement, it would demoralize the entire force. I have seen some images recently which I had commented on earlier but couldn't discuss fully. These images show Pakistani soldiers reacting in panic. They were scared that if they did not project force at this point, the situation would spiral out of control and the crowd might attack their brigade headquarters. This suggests that the rules of engagement are still not clear, and the Army's leadership, or GHQ, hasn't been able to devise a clear strategy for these situations. If the people of Punjab do not raise their voice about what is happening in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan, it will only add to the growing sense of insecurity and alienation among the marginalized groups. This will eventually lead to very dangerous consequences for Pakistan's future. Many innocent people still believe that if Zulfikar Ali Bhutto had not said "Uthatum Ida Hum," a slogan that was never actually uttered by him, things might have been different. This was just a headline created by a newspaper in 1970. But in reality, the unrest that had been brewing since 1953 had to eventually explode, and Bhutto's stand was not the sole cause of the subsequent events. Similarly, today, the growing unrest in Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is leading to greater alienation. The issue, unfortunately, is still unresolved, and if it continues this way, it will lead to an inevitable explosion of frustration and anger. The solution, however, lies in dialogue. India's solution is dialogue, uninterrupted, sustainable and unbreakable engagement. We need to adopt a similar approach within Pakistan, particularly in regions like Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan. These areas require sustained dialogue to address the issues, but whenever any political party or group calls for dialogue, the so-called civil society, which is largely funded by Western NGOs, immediately dismisses it, saying dialogue with groups like TTP is impossible because they don't believe in Pakistan's constitution. But my question is, does anyone in Pakistan's establishment or political leadership truly believe in the constitution? No one follows the constitution, so how can you deny the possibility of dialogue with TTP on constitutional grounds? If such dialogue can lead to peace, it should be welcomed, rather than dismissed as a hypocritical argument. Dialogue is always the way forward, whether it's between the Pakistani state and its marginalized groups or between India and Pakistan. If the government continues to reject dialogue, then we are heading towards an inevitable escalation of conflict. In conclusion, if the people of Punjab do not raise their voices against what is happening in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan, Pakistan's future may be at risk, and the explosion of frustration and anger that we are seeing in these regions will only continue to grow. The solution, as always, lies in dialogue, understanding and compromise. Only then can we hope for a peaceful and prosperous future for all parts of the country. That wraps up our translation of Moeed Pirzada's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.